another story that's happened this week that John Dunn mentioned, which was this rather shocking statement that was made by Hope Not Hate, which says that we announced 3 winners of our Hope Hero Awards. Joe Solo won the award for We Shall Overcome, an artist-led response to the growing poverty on the streets of the UK. Since the announcement of the awards, we've brought to our attention that in 2018 and 2019, Joe Solo published several social media posts that we deem unacceptable. Hope Not Hate have long been clear that anti-Semitism in the Labour Party has been a major problem, and vocal in our condemnation of Chris Williamson. One of the major mistakes made by Labour Party is making excuses instead of acting when faced with anti-Semitism. We will not make that mistake. We have decided to withdraw the award from Joe Solo, and we have reached out to him to offer training on the issue of anti-Semitism and explain why we found the tweets unacceptable. I don't really want to read much more of that, but what I do want to say is that we have on the call with us now Tony Booth, who set up a crowdfunder to try to make up that money that was lost by Joe Solo, because it was £5,000, wasn't it, Tony, that was going to come from Hope Not Hate to Joe Solo to help food banks?
Yep. It was £5,000, which was the prize, which he received on the basis of a popular vote. I think 100 organisations were put forward for this prize. There was a short list of 6, and Joe Solo was awarded it by Hope Not Hate. He didn't ask for the prize. He didn't ask to be nominated. He didn't ask to be put on the short list. But Hope Not Hate organised it, so he won the prize. And then, as you say, it was withdrawn with these slurs that he had been involved in anti-Semitism. It's a kind of, well, let's say who I am. I'm one of JVL's officers. I'm one of the gloriously suspended. I say I'm in animated suspension from the Labour Party. And actually, quite frankly, I'm a busy person, and I urge everyone to look to their community activism like Joe Solo does and get on with it. Don't be down because of what's happened to you in the Labour Party. You're liberated to get on with all the wonderful things that you like to do. So as a Jew, of course, I check this out. I don't want to support someone who's anti-Semitic, so I checked it out. The allegations are these, that Joe said Jeremy Corbyn is not an anti-Semite. And he also, on 2 occasions, said he was glad to meet Chris Williamson. The idea that this constitutes anti-Semitism is a kind of vindictive extremism. And it's the kind of, and then it's the kind of thing you were subjected to, Crispin. And I think the horrifying thing for me about this is the effect that it has. This was devastating for Joe Solo. I mean, for someone who he's raised hundreds of thousands of pounds supporting people in the community, in food banks, in community support organizations. And it's so integrated into his identity that he's an anti-racist. It happened to an earlier caller too. The idea then, when you get accused of being a racist, it's horrifying to you. He said it's as if all the work that he'd done over so many years meant nothing. So my response, I didn't know how to quite go about this, but I thought I'd gently say, I hope you don't mind, but I would like to try and raise the money to replace your prize. And this was on Thursday. And within a day, we'd raised the £5,000. People's reaction was so strong that I'd get notes from GoFundMe the organization saying, you know, this is, you know, one of our best funders. Can we now talk to the media? You know, we're amazed at this story. Let me say a few of the things people have said. Joe Solo is the most honest and kind person I know, and he fights for the welfare of the homeless. He gives them a voice. Another person, David Rains. Joe didn't ask to be nominated. He was nominated by the public. Joe didn't ask to be shortlisted. Hope Not Hate did that. Like many who strive for justice, Joe is smeared when the injustice he speaks of offends the vested interests of others. Keep doing what you do, Joe. We love you, and your passion inspires us to be better people. I mean, I feel privileged to be part of this attempt to redress this injustice to Joe. And I'm astonished at how rapidly people have contributed. We're now up to 9,748. And initially I thought we just raised the 5,000. Now I'm thinking, you know, this isn't a fundraiser to go on forever, but a prize, to re-award him a prize, which is double the size of the original prize, would be fitting.
Yeah.
And let me just say what he said he would do with the money. It straight away, he said he'd identified the good causes that the money would go to. And in typical generosity said, I would like £1,500 of the prize to go to the 3 people who were runner-up, £500 each, so that they could also be included in the prizes. Yeah. I think Hope Not Hate got a bit of a shock, and they thought, maybe what are we going to do? He's already promised the money. So they contacted him and surreptitiously, this is not public as far as I know, tried to give him the money back. And Joe said, I'm sorry, I don't accept it. Divide that money that you're trying to give me back into 3 or 4 or 5 pieces and give it to some others who want to give to their
yeah, I mean, I asked Joe if he'd come on the show, but he's rehearsing. I mean, that's what he's like. He works all the time.
Yeah.
And but he said he'd come on next week. So when we get him on next week, if people can all just bombard him with love and solidarity, because Joe is one of the nicest people you could ever meet, and this sort of thing is painful for him. Yeah.
He said that this has gone a long way to giving him back sort of his sense of, you know, his sense that what he does is worthwhile. I mean, this mass of support, and it feels very worthwhile. And if I can say one more thing, I've offered Hope Not Hate education in anti-Semitism. In Jewish Voice for Labour, they offered him training. We don't do training. Training's what you do with dogs. We offer education. We try to enter into dialogue with people. We talk to them. We allow them to express their thoughts, and then we discuss with them whether perhaps those thoughts might be expressed better, or whether there are things that they need to think about. So I haven't had a reply yet, but I'm hoping that Hope Not Hate will take up my offer of anti-Semitism education, and maybe then perhaps they can avoid this vicious extremist line that they seem to be taking at the moment. Thank you.